Before we get into the topic of what we're going to be discussing this evening, we want to give a disclaimer and start this with, we're not glorifying these actions, these murders, the horrific things that we face on a regular daily basis. It's the reason why you clicked on the video, right? It's not what we're going to be doing. We're not going to be shedding light on anything that we don't already know. Some might be things we don't, some might not. But that's not the point of making this man a hero or making him the next John Wayne Gacy or Bundy or all of the ones that you already know. It's not about that. It's about the families that this man touched, destroyed, obliterated. It's about these victims that could have eventually been the next president, the next doctor, the person to cure cancer. They never got that chance. So today, we honor them, their families, their loved ones left behind, who only want answers. They don't care why, they don't care when, they don't care how. They just want to know that he's gone and nothing like this can ever happen again.
Every town has their urban legends. Stop me if you heard this one. It's a late summer night. Two teenagers are making out at Lover's Lane. As the two are about to go all the way, the radio interrupts them.
A crazed maniac with a hook for a hand escaped from the local asylum.
The frightened girl demands to go home, as a frustrated boy guns the engine. The boyfriend goes to open his date's door. He sees, dangling from the door handle, the maniac's bloody hook ripped right from its socket. What started the myth of this urban legend? This is the story of the Phantom Killer. Let's start with what we know. Good evening, everybody. I'm Eddie Winchester, and to my left is...
Cat Quinn.
And to my right is Spanky the Demon.
Yeah, baby. You know you like it. I'm here.
Spanky's first appearance.
Cadaver.
It is. Huh?
He'll be filling in for Cadaver.
Yeah, he's not here today. He sucks.
And blows, apparently.
I don't know anything about those choices, but we're not going to get into it. I cannot confirm nor deny.
Spanky, why the suit?
Because I was running for president, and I can't really change myself. I don't know why, but my arms don't really work by themselves.
Well, you kind of got a hand up your ass, so you get asked for some help.
That explains so much. That's why I have a backache all the time.
It's almost like you could say you have a pain in your ass. But
He really needs to repaint in here. Good God. All right, so what are we doing today?
So tonight we are discussing yet another Unsolved, because apparently that has become our focus as of late. Tonight we will be discussing sexual assault, but it will just be mentioned and quickly moved on. We're not going to get into any details. If you want to know more, you got Google, you got Bing, and if you really want to take it old school, you've got Ask Jeeves somewhere. I'm pretty sure the servers are still up if you really look for them. Tonight, we are discussing the Texarkana Moonlight Murders.
Google says I'm disgusting.
Well,
not wrong.
Oh yeah.
We already know Spanky's search history, so
you don't know. You think you do. VPNs do a lot in hell. I'll just say that.
Kind of goes with the name, though, don't you think?
What?
So these murders, there were 5 in total.
I'm a big Little Rascals fan, dude. Relax.
But do you got a pickle?
Pervert.
There were 5 kills in total with 3 survivors in a span time of roughly 10 weeks, starting from February 1946 and going all the way to May 1946. So we start off in the quiet area of Texarkana. It's a little piece of countryside at the Texas and Arkansas border. And on the evening, You got family in Arkansas?
No, I said I hate Arkansas.
Is that because you have family in Arkansas?
No, I just hate it.
Fair enough.
I visited a nifty little place called Little Rock, and it sucked. And then it was like a 2-hour drive to like Sister Fist, Arkansas, and it was just awful. It was awful all the time. Although good barbecue, surprisingly.
The more you know about,
February 22nd, 1946, around 11:45 p.m., Jimmy Hollis, age 25, and Mary Jean Larry, age 19, were parked at a nice, quiet little location that none of us have ever been to. Anybody guess where it is?
I said Walmart before.
Whataburger?
Ready?
Oh, I love Whataburger.
Right.
It's a lover's lane, guys.
Oh, yeah, so that means more In-N-Out Burger.
And that sets the mood for the night, folks. So after going on a double date with Jimmy's brother and his brother's girlfriend, the date went so well that the two decided that they were going to have some alone time with each other before calling it a night, and decided to pull off and park.
As one does.
As one does.
Pull out.
After some time together, Spanky,
What? I know what you're talking about.
Jimmy had stepped out of the car. Jimmy had stepped out of the car to admire the stars.
Jimmy!
While doing so, he was suddenly blinded by a man holding a flashlight. The man demanded, Spanky, keep it together. The man demanded Jimmy take his pants off.
Oh, we've all been there, right?
I
said, oh, we've all been there.
At gunpoint?
I mean, hey, you don't know my life.
Hey, crazier things have happened.
Sometimes you got to pay extra for that sort of action.
All right.
Fair enough. Jimmy attempted to de-escalate the situation by telling the man he had the wrong guy. As you can imagine, this didn't de-escalate a damn thing. Instead, the man insisted he didn't want to kill Jimmy, but would if he didn't take his pants off. So
I'm curious, but from what you said, so let's say, okay, let's put ourselves in this situation really quick, because I know the last time that this was supposed to be recorded, we said we are going in the way back machine or something. But I'm curious, if you walk out of your car at a lover's lane, right, and you're blinded by some doofus with a flashlight and a gun, and he tells you to take your pants off, why is your response, you got the wrong guy? What the hell do you think is going on here?
Well, you're going to try to de-escalate the situation. If he has a gun and he's trying to mug you or rob you, be the tougher guy. You know what I mean?
Like there's a lot of other things you could say, though. Don't shoot my dick off, something like that.
I mean,
you also got to think, this is the 1946 of it all.
Okay. I have nothing. But I'm just saying, I feel like there's other things that can be said rather than, you got the wrong guy.
Either way, that's what was said.
It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man.
I knew it.
It didn't change anything, because the guy still ended up telling Jimmy that he didn't want to kill him, but he would if he didn't take his pants off. So naturally, Jimmy complied and started to take his pants off. While Jimmy was distracted, the man attacked immediately. Brutally beaten, Jimmy was hit twice in the head with a metal object, possibly a bat, but most likely the handgun.
Steel dildo.
Kicked and stomped once he was on the ground. Guys, can we just remember something real quick for just a moment? He's at a lover's lane with his date.
Apparently she didn't help.
Where was she the entire time?
Watching his ass get stomped. Where have you been?
Yeah, she was in the car the entire time and watched all of this take place.
It was a setup.
She didn't offer to help, like jump on the dude's back or, none of that,
It's 1946, guys. This isn't me walking home after a night shift at the bar.
I'll play devil's advocate. She didn't offer to help Jimmy get his ass stomped then? What? You said that she couldn't help Jimmy out. Okay, what about the other guy? Equal opportunity here, man.
Well, unfortunately, this piece of absolute garbage is kind of an equal opportunities guy. So the entire time, mind you, Mary is in the car witnessing all of this. She later reports thinking that Jimmy had been shot because she heard a crack. The sound was actually Jimmy's skull cracking.
Oof.
Yeah, that's a good sound. I hear it a lot.
He wasn't shot. His skull was actually fractured from the beatings. She makes it out of the car and approaches the attacker with Jimmy's wallet to show that he didn't have any money. I'm going to side note us here and say, but y'all just went out on a date.
That's why he has no money. He spent it all on her.
Right. I was about to say that. Like he's broke.
He spent it all on her, and this fucking dildo came in and fucking ruined everything. So you know what? I'm not going to call him the Phantom Killer. From now on, he's the cockblock killer.
Well, I mean, he is attacking at lovers' lanes. So,
bastard!
She gets out of the car. She shows that he doesn't have any money. So the attacker thinks of the next logical thing. All right, go get your purse.
If I can't get any, nobody can.
He tells her to go get her purse, and guys, wouldn't you know it, Mary didn't have her purse because she had just gone out on a date.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into the whole sexist roles and stuff, but yeah, I think at 1940s, the woman wasn't really paying for much there. I think that like history dictated that the guy was paying or something.
You're right, yeah.
Yeah.
My date is to torture people. That's how I do. Yeah, romantic.
But also, we got to keep in mind, she's also 19 and on a date in the 1940s. It's not a crazy concept for the time, in all honesty, as we just pointed out. The attacker, though, piece of shit that he is, hits Mary across the face or head, reports vary, and tells her to run. She's disoriented. I don't know, because she just got hit over the head with an object, but she's disoriented and she goes running in a different direction than what the attacker initially told her to be heading. This path that she chose to take just so happened to lead her into the direction of a ditch. As she's running, she's continuously looking back behind her and sees the attacker still beating Jimmy. Mind you, he's out by now. He's not conscious whatsoever. She looks back one final time, and the attacker takes off after her. When the douchebag catches her, he asks her why she was running. Could it possibly be because he told her to?
Maybe it was the merciless beating.
Don't know, but that would be my guess. So that's what she tells him. You told me to start running. He calls her a goddamn liar and begins striking her several times in the head again before sexually assaulting her. Mm-hmm. She believes that it was with the barrel of the gun. However, there is no confirmation of that, but that is what Mary reported. That is what she believes happened.
That's what in the police report that they took. She was sexually assaulted with the barrel of the gun.
Yeah. So just as suddenly as it began, it's over. Just like this episode. Have a good night, folks.
That was it?
That's it.
I'm way up here for that. And I'm back.
Oh my God, Cadaver, where did you come from?
Apparently I had my hand up a demon's mouth.
You're the one who just now showed up, so...
I was running late. He was filling in for me, okay? Don't be mad because I got friends in low places.
So the attacker runs off, leaving Mary and Jimmy behind. Speculation is he saw headlights and was too scared to get caught, like the craven little bitch that he is, but who's to really say? Mary is able to make it to a nearby home. Don't know if this is exactly nearby, but roughly 300 feet from the attack, and calls for a sheriff. Jimmy regains consciousness and crawls to the road where he flags down a car for help. Thankfully, though, the ambulance Mary had already called was already en route, and they were both saved. Jimmy was in a coma for a week recovering from his injuries, while Mary was only hospitalized for a short while. She could only
nappy he ever had.
What?
I bet you it was the best nap he ever had.
I don't know. I've heard some stories about comas, so I wouldn't go that far. The only thing that Mary could remember was the mask the man wore over his face. Mm-hmm. Much like the Zodiac of the last episode, this jackass had a look as well. A burlap sack over his head with 2 holes cut out for the eyes. Again, given the time period, this is speculation, but Mary stated she thought the voice sounded like a black man. Jimmy, on the other hand, reported not seeing a mask, but the man was white, no older than 30. Both stated the man was 6 foot tall, and both of them stated that the man was 6 foot tall. Mm-hmm. A month later, on the evening of March 23rd, 1946, Richard Griffin and Polly Ann Moore, 17, went on a double date. Again, brother and his girlfriend, or again with Richard's little brother and the brother's girlfriend. Richard and Polly went to the movies alone afterwards, and then they went to a late night cafe for a nightcap. Can we talk about the fact that they served nightcaps at cafes at this time?
I mean, who doesn't like a nightcap?
But I mean, like, what other time would you wind up serving it? Would you serve a nightcap in the middle of the day?
At a cafe, though.
I mean, hey, I don't go judging you.
Not a bar, not a speakeasy, a fucking cafe.
Speakeasy? What are we in the fucking 1920s? Shit.
Let me enjoy my time periods, please. The 1940s of it all.
Oh, speaking of which, by the way, just, because the whole Texarkana thing, I'm wearing my Arkansas hat.
As you should. I'm not wearing my frames, so. They left a little after 2 a.m. on March 24th and pulled off into a little place along the way. Anybody know what it could possibly be that they stopped into before they got home?
A Sonic.
Nightcaps?
No, they left the cafe that served nightcaps.
Another nightcap?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Dairy Queen?
A Lover's Lane, you weirdo.
It was definitely a Del Taco.
Hey.
It was speculated that another car pulled up next to them. However, we don't know what took place in that evening in its entirety. Mm-hmm. We just know that they were found the following morning when a passing car decided something didn't look right.
Yeah, that's definitely White Castle. That's a White Castle type activity.
Yeah.
It is believed that Richard was shot twice in the back of the head while standing just outside of the car before he was placed inside on his knees with his head resting on his crossed hands and his pockets turned out. Polly's death is where things get weird.
Yeah, weirder than this dude getting knocked twice in the back of the dome and then dragged into his car.
Well, let me tell you.
Got double tapped.
Mm-hmm. It was found in the back seat and notably not sexually assaulted, at least not in a way that left evidence. Okay, Kat, not that weird, right? There was.
I feel like you've heard the word cat and weird in your name more times than you care to fucking, admit to.
You know what? Cadaver.
Oh, no, I know I'm weird. Oh. He did do it. He did it. I saw it. All right. Sorry. Continue.
Okay, so that part's not really weird, right? What is weird, though, is that there was a blood-soaked blanket found outside of the vehicle over a notable patch of blood-soaked ground. This gave the impression that the blanket was laid out and Dick had killed Polly there before putting her back in the car. Ballistics said a .32 caliber pistol was used. Now,
maybe they had a picnic.
What are we thinking about the blanket?
I just said it. Maybe they had a picnic. Now, how about this one? What if he killed her, but he was trying to move, him? He killed him outside the car, used the blanket to try and grip him and move him. So because it's a very weird frame of reference, but dead bodies are not easy to move. You know? So I mean, yeah, my name's Cadaver. Yeah, you get it. But I'm not saying I'm a murderer, but I've been in emergency services for a very long time, so I'll tell you that. But maybe he utilized the blanket like kind of like a sked litter or wrapped around and pulled, you know?
Makes sense.
Possible.
Eddie, your thoughts?
Makes sense, but they didn't find any like evidence of she was raped or anything, right? Nothing on the blanket.
Well, see, here's the problem. It's the 1940s. This is before DNA and forensic investigation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As we also talked about during the Zodiac episode too, you know?
Right, exactly. My thinking on the blanket is just because she wasn't noticeably assaulted doesn't mean that it didn't happen. I think there's some form of DNA on that blanket that they just didn't have. And that's not to say that the police didn't do their due diligence. They did the damn thing with this investigation.
At least as far as technology would allow back then.
Right. Exactly.
So you're thinking that he lifted her up, put the blanket underneath her, had his way with her, did whatever, took the blanket and rolled it back up and...
No, because the blanket was still left out. The blanket was laid out. So the blanket was soaked and so was the ground underneath the blanket.
So I think that obviously a body had to be on top of that for a little bit of time, you know?
Exactly. At least long enough to not only bleed through the blanket, but to soak the ground beneath it as well.
Well, depending on where the wound was, bleeding wouldn't probably take all that long.
And if we're also taking into consideration, now no blood matter was found on the blanket, at least none that was reported, but he was shot in the back of the head. The head bleeds tremendously.
From anything, so, you could have a simple cut on your head. You're still going to bleed a shit ton.
Exactly. Yeah. I think there's more to the blanket. I think that if they would have had the forensic evidence and the forensic DNA testing abilities back then, I think it would have said something about her and about what happened to her. Because here's where it also gets weird. We go from March 24th to April 14th. He's escalating. He didn't get the first 2 kills, but he got the next set. And now we have, a 3-week time period, 2-week time period later? We're escalating and we're going quick. So on April 14th, 1946, Paul Martin, 16, picked up Betty Jo Booker, 15, after a musical performance. He had planned to take them to a midnight movie, again, the 40s, but plans had to change because the concert ran late. So they decided they would meet up with some of Betty Jo's friends. But as teenagers do, they made a stop along the way. Guys, do we know where it's going to be at?
Del Taco.
Sonic?
Jack in the Box.
Eddie?
Sonic?
We need to get this man a Sonic. Damn.
He's got one not that far away from him.
No, they closed it down.
They closed it.
Oh, no.
I'm highly upset about this.
I got two within a 15-minute drive from me.
It was. I have one about a 15-minute drive away, but it was definitely a Raising Cane's.
Oh. It was a lover's lane.
That rhymes with Raising Cane.
I'm aware.
So I should get some credit.
Now, she had a specific instrument that...
She did, and we're going to get there, my good sir.
Was it a cello?
Because it wasn't a cello. This was just after the concert, so they had planned plan to meet up with the friends. They stop at the Lover Lane, as children do.
Wait, no. Rephrase.
Yeah, rephrase that.
As teenagers do. Guys, they're
Better.
16 and 15.
Yeah, but don't be throwing that out there. We'll wind up on some sort of list.
Yeah, no.
Good point. So we stop off at the Lover-
Teenagers.
And one of them definitely had a banjolele.
At around 6:30 a.m., April 15th, a couple on an early morning walk. Why are you walking at 6:30 in the morning? Stumble across
Especially that close to tax time.
Paul's body. He had been shot 4 times in the nose, ribs, right hand, and back of his neck.
So, I'm going to go ahead and bring that up about like maybe the 1940s were different. People were more about like, hey, we're going to get up and go, But I have never once woken up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning and said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go for a walk.
Let's go for a walk.
Yeah, no.
No. Because usually around that time, I want to still be in bed asleep.
I mean, Cadaver, me and you hung out for like until like 6, 7, 8 a.m. and then
crash.
Yeah, and then we fucking do it again.
You see, that's the point, though. Like that's the difference, though, because it wasn't we just woke up and decided to go start our day with a walk. No, that was the end of the day for us. That was
That was good night, folks.
I'm gonna go for a good night walk so I can tire myself out.
So police noticed blood across the road and decided that he must have been trying to crawl for help. Police did not know Betty Jo had been with him that night until friends and family asked about her and reported her officially missing. A search party was launched around 4:30, only 5 hours after Paul's body had been discovered.
Mm-hmm.
Betty Jo was found 2 miles away from Paul, laying behind a tree. She had her coat buttoned up to her chin and her right hand positioned, and reports vary. Eddie, you're going to back me up on this one. Reports vary. The one that I read the most common and often, and thank you to my amazing researchers, shout out to Shar, they found her hand positioned in her upper breast pocket.
Yeah, that was one speculation, but as per the crime scene photo, it was in her just a regular right pocket. It was no breast pocket on that coat that she was wearing that night.
Yeah. She had been shot twice in the chest and face. She had been sexually assaulted, which makes no sense if Mary Jean was assaulted, but Polly wasn't, but now Betty Jo is. You can't tell me that Polly wasn't assaulted. You can't.
I mean, he could have been selective.
Yeah, but you know what? For that sort of situation, a modus operandi, that it kind of moves along. It's like a blanket.
Exactly.
He's going to keep doing his thing the way he feels that he wants to do it, and he's going to perfect the way he does it.
Right.
Exactly. So you do it to the one, you skip the second, and you go for it with the other. That's not how that works. Unlike Richard from before, Paul was found 1.5 miles from his vehicle. Like Richard, however, the bullets were a .32 caliber pistol.
Mm-hmm. Which was also very openly available at that time, so that really didn't help anything.
Right. So,
plus you're on the border of Texas and Arkansas. It's going to be guns everywhere.
Exactly, which is exactly what it turned into. So there's a lot of research that is kind of boring for this little interlude, if you will. However, this is where the legend behind the Lover's Lane ghost pretty much starts. It's where
the killer with the hook for the hand and whatnot.
Like, the whole nine. This is where it starts. It could even be said that this is where Zodiac got his idea for Lover's Lane.
Very well.
It is possible because obviously it predates Zodiac.
25 years or so,
Right.
Give or take, yeah.
20 years.
This is where it all starts. And naturally, because of all of that, the townspeople go crazy, but nobody goes as crazy as the media.
Mhm.
They blow this shit up. And because they're freaking out about it, naturally,
The townspeople
went just as ballistic. Everyone was buying guns. Police were having to announce themselves when approaching homes to try to investigate just so that they wouldn't be shot. Couples were absolutely terrified. They put a curfew in place where the city had to shut down after sundown. Sound familiar?
I can't help but feel that she's trying to tell us something.
I wonder what that is.
What is it, girl? Is Timmy trapped in the well again?
I have no idea, Papa, but it could possibly be the inspiration for a couple of well-known movies, both titled The Town That Feared Sundown.
The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Dreaded.
Oh, swing and a miss.
Feared. I said feared. Thank you guys so much for having a wonderful time.
Yeah, go see yourself out.
Bye.
Exit stage left.
The other direction. I screwed that up.
But
And you call yourself a theater kid.
But I will throw in a little side note with the urban legend with the hook with the hand and everything like that.
He left.
God damn. No. It can't.
You told me exit stage left. I did what I was told.
So a little side note I got about the urban legend for the man with the hook for the hand started in the 1950s. When did this take place? In the 40s?
1946.
So then the first appearance of the hook was in November 1960 when it appeared in the Dear Abby column, Beware of the Hook Man.
I mean, let's just go ahead and say this, though. The 1946, okay? The world is trying to heal itself. It just wound up, coming out of a world war. Everybody's fucking nuts. Lord knows what's going on. There's no fucking metal anywhere because, everything was sent over for the war efforts. We had just been de-Hitlerized in the world, because he took his own exit strategy, if you catch my meaning. It's the world was nuts. And I'm just going to say that, yeah, this might be just, some sort of remnants of like a shared delusion of the United States. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is that, yeah, you could wind up saying that, a Dear Abby column says beware of the hook man, but it could be something not related to this.
Absolutely.
Well, no, like apparently in the Dear Abby column, it said that the Dear Abby wasn't a warning towards teenagers about an escaped man with hooks for hands. The urban legends are more mysterious than it quite so literal, despite its name. The hook is as a cautionary tale. That's what it was about.
Gotcha. That's why he was killing people at Lover's Lane. He can't even fucking jerk off. He's got fucking hooks for hands.
Well, that was the thing. It was a cautionary tale to teenagers, warning teenagers everywhere about the dangers of sex. That was the meaning of the column.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the idea back then, or like, and I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen nowadays. We use fear to try and push narratives all the time.
Oh, yeah.
The media does it all the time. And that's not to get into a political conversation. But I mean, like, let's look at things like the 1980s, right? If you look at horror movies and stuff from the 1980s, you have a lot of regular themes that come across.
Yeah.
Like, let's take Child's Play, for example, right? Child's Play. Chucky, Charles Lee Ray winds up in the body of a doll, etc. We all know the story, right? But he does it through voodoo. This was a direct correlation to the satanic panic that was going on around that time.
Mm-hmm.
People were afraid of metal bands. They were afraid of everything else. So now, at the time of the 1940s, it was all about being chaste and, trying to not have people talk, and you had to be proper in a way, So that would...
you had Grease not too long after this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where, yeah, I get the cautionary tale, but I feel like, fear is just one of those things, and then people kind of just all lumped it in together because it was the same thing that was happening at the time.
But look what happened when the fear grew larger. Everybody in the town panicked, went to the local gun shop, everyone cleaned out and bought themselves firearms to protect themselves.
Get away from my daughter, you hairy teenager.
Naturally, because of all of that, It's important to note, mildly important, albeit, but it's important to note for the next and final attack because it was way different than the first two. Almost to the point that speculation was made that it may not have even been the same killer or that he had to change his MO up because no one was at Lover's Lanes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's different, it also threw Texarkana into the more Phantom in the Dark fear because it was no longer an isolated incident with teens or Lover Lanes.
Yeah, so it was an escalation or a mutation of sorts, you know?
And boy, did this thing mutate.
Mm-hmm.
To May 3rd, when I said that this fucker progressed, I mean, it was bam, 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 rapid. So on May 3rd, just before 9 p.m., Virgil Starks, 37, and his wife, Katie, 36, were in their farmhouse for the night. Virgil was sitting in an armchair, maybe reading the newspaper, maybe listening to the news on the radio. Reports vary. Maybe he was having a conversation with his wife. Who knows? But he was sitting in his armchair.
Virgil
was shot twice
Dante?
in the back of the head from a closed window by an automatic rifle. Katie, naturally, hears the sounds of the breaking glass, runs to help her husband, sees that he's been shot, and runs for the crank telephone to call the police. She is shot twice.
For you kids out there, yeah.
You had to wind that thing for a minute.
Yeah, even the rotary phone. I remember still having a rotary phone.
Let's look even before then. This was the hello operator. I need.
Get me the police.
So she is shot twice, once through the cheek and once through her jaw, to the point that her teeth literally exploded out of her mouth.
And now it's applesauce for you for the rest of your days, lady.
Now, Cadaver,
Yes.
since you made that comment, we have 5 confirmed kills, 3 confirmed survivors. Does Virgil survive or does Katie?
I'm going to say she does.
Like the fucking badass she is, Katie decides to drop to the floor and play dead. Eventually.
Let's just say, though, that Virgil got shot was he shot in the melon?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not that he's not a badass. It's just
back of the head and the neck.
I don't think he was really given a fair shot to survive. He was just there. He's collateral.
It was pretty much he was in his recliner, reading the paper or whatever, and he took the shot through the window.
Point blank, well, not point blank, but
very close range.
Right.
I mean, I'd be pissed if I was sitting in my recliner and next thing I know I'm in fucking heaven or something like.
How'd I get here?
Why do I have a headache?
So Katie decides to drop to the floor and play dead. Eventually, she tries to crawl to her bedroom for her gun, but can't find it. So she circles back and sees the attacker trying to get in through the window. She makes it out. She runs across the street to her sister and brother-in-law's house. They weren't home, but their neighbor, A.V. Prater, comes out and see what's going on. Like a true Texarkanan, he shoots his rifle to alert everyone in the neighborhood that something's going on. Now,
as one does.
As one does. Now, the Starks lived on a 500-acre farm. So I'm guessing these houses aren't close together.
Shit, I wish I had a 500-acre farm. Damn.
I don't. That's a lot of upkeep, dude.
That's a lot of upkeep.
That's why you get goats.
Everyone comes out, and he tells another neighbor, Elmer Taylor, these names, to get his car so they can take Katie to the hospital. Guys, she survives. She makes it.
Bitch ain't got no teeth, though.
This, gentlemen,
bad form, Peter.
We come to the wonderful part of the episode where we cuss and discuss.
Okay.
Let's talk about this.
Cuss and discuss. What are we discussing? I personally believe that In-N-Out Burger is a lot better than Whataburger. You know, that's just my opinion.
Listen,
Never had it now, so I can't agree.
I love me some Whataburger. Okay.
All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and say the first point that I'm going to bring up is about that blanket incident. I think that that's kind of a lot of speculation because, I mean, granted, it does not take a long time for a body to bleed out. I'm going to go ahead and say that for somebody who's bleeding out a lot, it could take rapid exsanguination could be fatal in as little as 5 minutes. You know, so that could have been just like, and then now that's bleeding. You know, so I mean, it's just one of those things that. There's a lot of variables here, and I don't think we're ever actually going to know what happened.
Yeah.
But
Wait, not to cut you off, Cadaver, but I just had a thought. Was it the same caliber bullet used? It was okay.
Yes.
Sorry. Good.
again, though, a third, you know,
all of it up until Virgil and Katie were all 32 caliber pistol.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's because he used a rifle in the last one.
Yep.
Which means that he wanted to have a little more distance, but you have to still be able to get to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I forgot where I was going with my thought.
Yeah, sorry.
Dang it! Don't worry, it'll come back to me. I think probably at like freaking 4:00 this morning. I'll be sitting there.
It was about the blanket.
Yeah, but I don't remember what I was connecting with.
So it was assumed that the blanket was laid out and Polly was killed on it before being placed back in the car, but she was found sitting in the back seat.
But why though? Like, why put her out on the blanket? Why go through all the extra steps?
If
Why
you're
go through it?
going to assault her in some way, though.
So you got to put a blanket down?
Cover your tracks.
I guess, but I mean, it didn't do anything. So I mean, but then again, also, why go through the extra trouble of shooting this dude twice in the back of the melon and then positioning him in the vehicle?
Why go through the trouble of doing the same for her?
Agreed. It feels very performative, like he's trying to curate an art piece.
Well, that can also lead into the speculation of all serial killers. Are they not trying to do the same thing?
Well, I mean, that's just a piece of narcissistic, it's like a narcissistic intent. A lot of serial killers believe that they're artists, but meanwhile, it's just honestly something that they push to try and cover up their own inadequacies. So it's like, oh, well, I killed this person, but I'm making it art. No, you're not. You're moving a body. That's what you're doing. You did something bad, and now you're deciding to play with what you're doing to try and make it seem like you're deep. You're really not, guy.
Now, could we also be looking at this wrong and he's trying to outsmart law enforcement by throwing them off by rearranging them back into the vehicles?
I guess, but as you said, I don't really think it was all that much to outsmart, the Hicktown, USA police,
Fair.
Easy there.
Fair.
What easy there? You're in New York, dude. Relax.
Easy there, guy.
If anything, she should get more friggin', more offended by it.
No, I mean, you're not wrong, but at the same time, they really honestly did do their due diligence.
Look at it this way. Around that time frame, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assume that most of them were kind of like Mayberry and, Andy Griffith and stuff,
Sure.
So I'm going to go ahead and say it was, a small town area or small area where everybody seemed to know each other,
Yeah, sounds about right.
Everybody was in there. Everybody was in everybody else's business. So there was a lot of gossip going on. But you have like the police driving by and this is them to everybody,
True.
The ice cream man drives by.
Exactly. The point I'm trying to make is I don't think that they were physically prepared to have to deal with something of this caliber.
Right. But when I say that they did their due diligence, I mean, Texas Rangers were involved, sheriffs, surrounding counties sent extra officers. Granted, of course, there were numerous false tips, but I mean, they did as much as they could. They knew that they were out of their depth, so they called in for backup and were communicating with them.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying that I don't think it was a lot to try and outsmart them.
Fair.
That was my point.
And it's a fair point. Like, I'll definitely give you that. It's a fair point to make.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, like, things have kind of evolved and jumped by leaps and bounds to get to the point where we are for our current state of investigations and
Absolutely.
forensics and stuff like that. There have been so many breakthroughs in that field, you know, especially since the 1940s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at things like fingerprinting. You know, we discussed that in the last episode with the tape and having to send it out a facsimile. And then we had ink prints that you get done, you know, in person. Now you have live scan where you just put your hands on that pad and it reads all your fingerprints.
Right.
Excuse me. It tries to, because there's been a lot of times where it's like it won't read you and you have to like put on lotion or something and then put your fingers down, you know?
Right.
Kind of like the whole Rambo scene when they're trying to fucking get his fingerprints and he keeps wiping the ink off his.
Yeah.
Or, you know, somebody like me who's played with candles for far too long and has very little fingerprints left.
Remember what I said about your name and the word weird in the same sentence? I'm pretty sure it's still going.
Listen, don't let the orange fool you, okay?
I think your shirt might have a hole in it.
Really weird. Who were these people? There's very little known about Jimmy Hollis and Mary Jane Larry because they pretty much faded out of the public eye and lived private lives. I'm going to skip a little bit of the information on Mary Jean and save that for the suspects because she actually did the damn thing and she desperately tried to help in the investigations. But there were speculations on her stories.
Like speculations how?
Oh?
And I don't mean to get into it. I mean, just like, you know, it raises questions.
Well, she's a woman of 1946 who was sexually assaulted.
So wait, does that kind of push through with like the she had it coming sort of situation, or, you know?
I'm not going to say that it was victim blaming, but it was definitely eyebrow raising. Coming from what we know now to what we know now, going back and forth, they're going to put more weight on what the man says than they're going to put on what the woman says.
Mm-hmm. Especially back then.
Especially back then. So there was speculation from the investigator's side as far as her story goes. And it is the type of thing that some reports say that the police were skeptical of their story. Jimmy told them that this wasn't a random act of violence and they better find the guy or he would kill someone next time. Again, I'll leave Mary's piece out for now and then we'll go over that tomorrow. But again, like I was just saying, being a woman attacked at a lover's lane of all people, of all places, lost her credibility with the police.
Yeah. People will talk.
Yeah. And they often wondered if her morality alone could be trusted.
Because back then, if you were caught at a lover's lane or you were a harlot and shit like that.
Exactly. Like we were just saying earlier, no respectable
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Hey.
Not that there's anything wrong with that at all. Absolutely. And for both parties, absolutely not. Do it right.
Once again, Folklore and Felonies would like to apologize.
Like, do you have fun, live your life?
Yeah.
However,
but like that's the mentality of us now in today's day and age. Back then, it wasn't that type of mentality.
Right.
Well, I'm nowadays we're a little more I guess the term would be sex positive, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's more.
It's not taboo.
Yeah, it's a little more socially accepted,
right?
To talk about it, to be like, okay, cool, yeah, we know that women and guys and men or whatever the case may be, we know that people have sex. We get it, yeah, you know.
Right. So that's where we're gonna leave Jimmy and Mary Jean for now. Richard Griffin was a World War II vet, and Polly-Ann Moore was noted as likable and outgoing and well known in the town. Paul Martin was described as a short boy with the best attitude who loved people and people loved him. He was smitten with Betty Jo, who was described as smart, driven, and a wonderful saxophone player, which they never found her saxophone in the vehicle. Eddie had brought that up earlier. Wasn't
Mhm.
there an instrument? There
Yep.
was, and it was never found. It was missing from the vehicle.
Oh, dang it. It's not a banjolele.
It's not, but her mother, so Betty Jo's mother, described their relationship as I worshipped her. I worshipped her.
Mhm.
This poor woman lost her husband years before this incident, and then Betty Jo's older brother when he was only 16. So this woman has literally lost everything. Huh?
Man, I said,
Oh. Virgil Starks was described as quiet, hardworking, and well known in the community. His wife, Katie, was described as being social and kind. The couple didn't have children of their own, but plenty of nieces and nephews that they adored. These were real people.
agreed.
Just like with the Zodiac, just like with all of the others that we're going to cover, just like.
Like Son of Sam.
I wouldn't even have figured that. I wouldn't even figured out that you said it that way until you just did that.
I didn't realize that I did it that way until I went to go take the drink, and then my brain was like, what?
Wittawilly, Wittawilly.
But these were babies. I mean, the last
Hey, what are we talking about?
Teenagers.
Lovers Lane and babies and teenagers.
Teenagers.
okay,
I
we've
know
got
you-
a 16 and a
Teenagers.
15-year-old. We've got a 16 and a 15-year-old. We've got a 17 and a how old was Richard? 29 and 17. I've got my questions about that
Whoa.
one, but I'm going to leave that alone. And I mean, we've got a 25 and a 19-year-old.
Excuse me.
The 29 and the 17-year-olds, it's the 1940s of it all. Like,
Are they getting married?
maybe,
They're arranged to get married?
maybe,
Is there a dowry involved?
possibly. But I mean, this is small town South. This is Texarkana, for crying out loud. This is the type of place, and especially in that time period, where ages weren't looked at the same way that they are looked at now. It's almost like it's a reverse psychology where they see sexual exploitation as taboo and we got to keep that quiet, and that doesn't happen and nobody does that. We accept it. They see a 29 and a 17-year-old, and they see the 29-year-old as well-to-do. He's going to be financially stable. He's going to be able to provide as a husband. Where they're looking at the 17-year-old going, she's young, she's impressionable, she'll make a perfect housewife because you'll be able to teach her the expectations that you have for her in her wifely roles.
I mean, yeah, that sort of situation has kind of gone on for a long time around that time frame. I mean, like, look at 1957. Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, great balls of fire.
Good God.
I don't know why, but that just gave me a real weird taste in my mouth.
So sex back then, bad, wrong, no, shouldn't happen.
But marrying a 14-year-old, oh yeah, that's right up there.
Age gaps of 10 years plus, that's fine, that's acceptable. Now you come to us now, how many years later? 80 years later, and we're like, it's the reverse. Sex is accepted. We talk about it regularly, but that age gap makes us go, hold on. What is a 30-year-old man doing with a 17-year-old minor?
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a huge problem.
But for those time periods, and who's to say that it wasn't an arranged marriage? Who's to say that that wasn't the direction that they were headed? Hey, I could provide for you. I find you attractive. Hey, I could cook. I can clean. I can do everything that you are requiring of me. We can make this work. And the thing about it is, they never got the chance to find out if that would actually work. They never got to know. None of them got to know if they're going to be able to be husbands and wives and parents and mothers. I mean, who was it? Betty Jo's mother? I think it was. Yeah, Betty Jo's mother loses her husband, her son, when he was only 16, and now she's losing Betty Jo at, what was it, the age of 15.
Now I know that like I get what you're saying, where you're like they weren't given a chance to live their life in that sense. They weren't given a chance to see where things went. But I'm looking at it from the lens of today, and it still sounds off to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but now like getting off of Richard Griffin and Polly-Ann Moore,
Dick.
Just the fact of the matter is, these were, criminalize me, demonetize me, however you want to put it.
They were youngins.
There's perspective. They're kids. They're babies. They don't know. I mean, apart from the one, they don't know life, and they never got the chance to know life.
Well, that's the other thing, though. Richard definitely knew life because he was a World War II veteran.
He knew the wrong side of life.
I mean, but it's still experience.
It's still life, sure, absolutely, but they could have gone on to be more, and they should have gone on to be more.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get that chance to.
And I mean, that means that what I think is that I think that he definitely caught Richard by surprise.
Absolutely.
Because, especially a veteran who just got out of war,
yep.
I'm pretty sure he'd kind of had that heightened awareness to him, you know?
Absolutely. And, I mean, his was shot twice in the back of the head.
Yeah, so I feel like that definitely was a surprise.
Yeah. Had no idea. And it could have been as simple as the car pulled in beside them. He would have never known. It's a lover's lane.
And you don't make eye contact with the people in the vehicle next to you because it's weird.
Because you're at a lover's lane. You all know what you're there for.
Although I will say, no, that's not me though. I make eye contact because it establishes dominance.
Don't ever make. That's a very interesting bug on my paper right there. I love how it's just you two, and I'm like, nope. What does that say about us as people?
Nothing. Doesn't say anything. I don't know what you're insinuating.
Okay, sure. We'll go with that. But, I mean, they're young. And they're not gone. They're not forgotten. Because we're still here talking about them and remembering them and giving them a place to be. Mm-hmm. Like the zombies in the background, be damned.
What was that?
I said your hair looked nice, Cadaver.
I try to keep it short around this time, I know.
But they deserved more. And I hope by some way, some chance, us doing this podcast can give their family a piece of knowing that somebody cares enough to tell their story.
Definitely.
The worst part of their story, yes, but knowing that their sunshine and their brightness and their smiles and their warmth was able to radiate through it.
I know it's funny too. Like when I tell people about these murders, they have no idea. They had no clue that this is like the lesser known of like.
Yeah. But of course, like we were saying earlier, you turn around and you start talking about the urban legend of the Hookman, and everybody knows what that was. Mm-hmm. Everybody always knows the killer, but never knows the victims. Mm-hmm. And it shouldn't be that way.
That's because the American people, they worship the spectacle of it. Mm-hmm. It's fascinating, but only in certain aspects. People don't want to hear about the people that, were killed. They want to hear about the fucking villain, the creature that's doing this, because the world loves a target.
Yeah. They want the crime scene photos. Like we were saying in the last episode, they want the bad guy to point the finger at. They want to say, you're the boogeyman. You're the reason why we have a curfew. You're the reason why police are having to announce themselves. You're the reason why nobody wants to talk to the media. Like
As
we
we
say
say.
in the disclaimer before every episode, this isn't a glorification. This is a remembrance of those that were lost.
And the other thing we say is let's start with what we know.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, we are going to end with what we know about the suspects, but you are going to have to wait until the next episode. So please stick around, but we don't have a rate, review, and subscribe, but subscribe, ring the bell so that you know when our next episode is going to be. And as always, I'm Kat Quinn.
I'm Eddie Winchester.
And I'm Cadaver the Clown.
And this has been Folklore and Felonies. Catch you on the next one, guys.